Robert Norman Ross, also known as Bob Ross, is an icon that has wedged himself into the hearts of many. Be it through his long-running TV series, or his calm and kind demeanor, or even his beautiful paintings, he has taught everyone the joy of painting. Even after his death, memes and his recognizability keep his image fresh in my and everybody else's mind. Now, before I talk about Bob Ross in general, what do I think of his paintings? But not just his paintings, his art. The art of Bob Ross is more than just his paint using his style. It's his TV series. When somebody says Bob Ross, sure, they think painter, but it's really the joy of painting that they think about. And it is great. It's a very educational art program that even if you're not looking to do art, you can just sit back and enjoy. There's nothing you could dislike about this, besides maybe he's too nice. But is that really a downside? Come on. It's just enjoyable. It's fun. And what is art meant to be besides that? Bob Ross was born on October 29th, 1942. He passed away on July 4th, 1995, at 52 years old due to complications from lymphoma. Bob Ross dropped out of school at grade 9 and joined the United States Air Force. His father was a carpenter and his mother was a waitress. Bob Ross worked in the military, starting off doing files, and then became a military instructor, a master sergeant, and served 10 years with the Air Force. He has 2 children and 3 wives, as well as 1 half-brother, Jim. He, as a child, and even as he was an adult, he cared for injured animals, and was a deist. He lost his left index finger due to a carpenting accident while working with his father. The process that Bob Ross followed was to start with any gradients, any shading, just setting the tone for the areas of the painting. And then he would paint using X's and crisscross strokes with his brush, just to really get it in there. He also blend colors both on the easel or canvas and on his palette. Often just, doing it as he goes along. And to clean his brush, as I said earlier, he will just dip it in odorless paint thinner in a little bucket, and just beat the devil out of it on his easel. And similar painters to him may include his mentor turned kind of rival friend turned sour Bill Alexander, who hosted his own show, I believe it was the magic of painting, magic of oil painting, maybe. I can't exactly remember. His child, Sam Ross, of course, he learned from his father, some more work. And also, some of you may have heard of him, Vincent van Gogh. Even if you don't consider it the same wet-on-wet style, he still did what Bob Ross may be found doing, which is Impressionism, which is it depicts light in its changing qualities and amounts. So, it's not all one color. It all flows. It's not straight, it's not direct. However, another style Bob Ross dabbled in, or people consider him to have done, is Romanticism, which is the movement that uses the inspiration or imagination of the painter or the creator, which does create for some very interesting artworks, even if there are quite a lot of similarities between them. It's still beautiful. Now, you do not become as well-known a painter as Bob Ross is without its fair deal of challenges. The first of which, well, I have already talked a bit about, and not necessarily being from his painting, is the loss of his finger from his carpentry. However, that did not stop him from holding his palette later on in life when he wanted to paint, which, at least he wasn't a lefty. And also, they made a company pulling together the savings of an entrepreneur, himself, and his wife at the time, which, as I'm sure most companies do, it didn't start off making a lot of profit, struggling at first, but then it became, Bob Ross Incorporated, whatever the company's called. Who knows the Bob Ross company? Who buys paints from there? I'm sure a lot of people do, and that's why they still have it running, but come on. And also, as I mentioned earlier, Bill Alexander, who was once a good friend of Bob Ross, he just sadly felt jealous and betrayed by Bob Ross. He was so successful, probably much more successful than Bill ever was. You don't hear people talking about him today, now do you? Most people thought of Bob Ross as a great instructor and an even better host. No, even if they thought his art was no good, which I don't think many of them did. They still had nothing but respect for his instructional skills and the influential after effects of his TV series. But still, people generally consider Ross as a great and skillful artist. As with any other time in any year of any decade, there is of course a lot happening. And this always has great influences on the media and art we consume. during the time of that the joy of painting was getting new episodes and being made, which is 1983 to 1984, we see things like the Challenger disaster, the Nellie massacre, the Cold War still being the Cold War, and a false nuclear alarm for the Soviets. Now those are all great causes for alarm, and I can't help but think, of course, Bob Ross, he had the goal to be calm and never raise his voice. But, come on, I'm sure those helped him make that decision, because at that point, people didn't need somebody to be harsh and tough. They just needed something calm, something nice, something to enjoy themselves to. But maybe on the lighter side of the spectrum of things happening during the joy of painting, we see the release of Fraggle Rock, a educational TV series for children using puppets as characters, or the release of the Famicom, or the Nintendo Entertainment System, as people in the West know it as. Now, this just showed that things could be fun. Bright colors were nice for people, and the people I'm sure Bob Ross was trying to direct his program towards. He was trying to teach people how to paint, and not just how to paint, but how to paint. He just wanted to be educational, and guess what? It worked. It's not like it was some big failure. It's probably one of the most successful TV series from that time. Rolling by right now are some pictures of examples of works of Bob Ross. I know I may not have gone as in-depth as I could have with some questions, but if it's anything not about his personal life, you can just watch The Joy of Painting and you'll see it for yourself. It's the best way to experience the work of Bob Ross.
スタープラチナザワールド